Good afternoon, sir. Thank you so much for taking this time. Here with us today, the CEO of IndiaAI Mission, Shri Abhishek Singh ji, who also is an additional secretary within the Ministry of Electronics and IT, who leads multiple portfolios, but the primary portfolio that we are going to engage today about is on AI Mission. Thank you, sir. Again, as you know, Office of PSA has this knowledge product, Vigyan Dhara, which is a magazine. And every edition of that, we focus on a particular theme or a technology, and we try to cover the advancement of that technology or a sector in India, but also its global positioning, how it's going to progress and stuff. The current edition for which we are having this conversation is on artificial intelligence. And as a IndiaAI mission head, also about engaging in multilateral entities for AI positioning of India's narrative. This conversation is very important and also insightful for us and our audience. With that, would like to also run through an outline how we will have this conversation. We'll have segments, 4 to 5 to capture. And to begin with, how do we decode AI as a disruptive technology? As technology itself, we understand creating a lot of disruption in sectors, which we are currently managing through its adoption and regulations and governance of it. But for a general audience, how would you describe AI as a disruptive tech and what it means for a larger audience and society?
Thank you, Chagun. And first and foremost, thanks a lot for taking artificial intelligence as a theme for the Vigyan Dhara series, which can play a big role in communicating to the people with regard to what the technology is, what it can do, what's important to demystify or decode, as you say. So, when you look at technology like artificial intelligence, it's not that something new. It's been in existence for a very, very long time. In fact, the term was first coined way back in 1956. And since then, there have been a lot of work which has happened in the field of artificial intelligence, whether it began with basic data science, followed by machine learning, then deep learning, and now, of course, we are more used to the productized version of artificial intelligence, which goes by the name of Gen AI. And in many ways, I would say the present interest of almost everyone across continents and across sectors and across age groups in artificial intelligence, primarily because the ChatGPT moment of November 22, in which people started feeling that they are using artificial intelligence. They were using it earlier also, whether it was when they're shopping on Amazon, you get recommendations with regard to you bought this, or you may also want to buy this. Or when you watch YouTube videos or Netflix, when you get recommendations, that's also artificial intelligence in some form. Image recognition has also been there in multiple ways, whether it's the Jeevan Pramana application of NIC, or whether the challans that people get while driving or while over-speeding or something. There are cameras which capture and violations, and you get. So AI has been in use in multiple ways for a long time, but because one was able to use it in a very easy to friendly way, the WhatsApp way, I would say, and one was able to create content, textual or video or images, people got a bit infatuated. So that kind of brought a lot more interest of most people in AI, and they started wondering what all AI is. So while the initial interest came out of the Gen AI moment of writing poetry or cracking jokes and getting information about stuff, but then slowly people did realize that it has many more applications in various sectors, whether it's healthcare, whether it's agriculture, whether it's manufacturing, whether it's education. It has a potential to impact and disrupt almost every sector of the economy. It's so much like electricity. It's like AI is not something that's confined to Ministry of Electronics and IT or technology or computer science. It cuts across. It's like it can be used for multiple purposes. So that's the power of AI, which has kind of led to many more opportunities coming in, and more people in every sector getting interested in the use of AI.
Of course. You really touched upon where we are leading in this conversation, which is there are certain sectors which already uses AI, and there are some sectors we see the potential really getting there in near future, and startups and ministries, funding bodies, all of them are working towards it. In your opinion, what do you think the key sectors that would really benefit, particularly in India, by large-scale adoption of AI?
One very important sector in which we are already seeing a big impact is natural language processing, the use of AI in allowing Indians to access information in their own mother tongue and kind of get services in their mother tongue. We launched a product called Bhashini. It was like pre-ChatGPT. Bhashini was launched in July 2022, which kind of built tools to ensure seamless speech-to-speech, speech-to-text, text-to-text translations across all Indian languages. So what it does is that it powers anyone to be able to get
the information and services
in the language of his choice. And he can put a query, he can get a reply back. It also it enables voice-enabled services. So we do realize that with our size and diversity, a country like our size and diversity, we have almost 1.4 billion people. Number of people who are currently accessing online services is somewhere around 900 million. But that's a huge number because than anywhere else. But then we also realize that 500 million people are not accessing online. For these 500 million people to be able to be connected to the digital economy, they will need services in their own mother tongue, and more importantly, to voice-enabled services. Like, for example, if there's a farmer living in a rural area, if he suppose wants to get any information for a agricultural practice or with regard to price of a particular crop or with regard to any pesticide that he needs to buy or how much water he needs to use for his irrigation, he can technically go to a website, agricultureministry.gov.in or ENA, Mandi portal, and all those portals are there. But most farmers will struggle to enter the URL on a website or download an app or
type in the features.
They will not be able to. But they would be very happy if we are able to offer it a voice-enabled services. When they query an app कि मेरे प्लांट पे पत्ते पीले हो रहे हैं मैं क्या करूं या बारिश कल होगी या नहीं होगी पास की मंडी में कपास की कीमत क्या है and if they are able to put these queries in their mother tongue and get the reply back on voice, it's very, very powerful. We tested with the APIs that we have of Bhashini, it works. And then what we also did in the same domain, the next step is that why do you need a smartphone also? When your input is a voice and your output is a voice, and backend I am doing all these APIs and Gen AI, the computations are happening. For the citizen, he can just give a voice input, get a voice output. So we tried with a feature phone, with a 2,000 rupees Asha phone, on which he could call a toll-free number and give his query in voice and get the reply back on voice in real time. So that's real empowerment. And then we can replicate similar solutions for a woman, say, living in Jharkhand in a tribal area, or a child suffering from diarrhea, not knowing, not a hospital nearby, not a doctor who she can have access to. But if she can call a toll-free number on her low-cost phone, without internet, without connectivity, without smartphone features, and is query कि मेरे बच्चे को 10 story में क्या करूं, and if she is able to get the reply back in the mother tongue, it can be so powerful.
Democratizing access
and more importantly, making public services accessible to people in their own mother tongue. So this is just NLP.
It's a major sector.
Take it further with regard to other use cases of AI in healthcare, in agriculture, whether you are able to say diagnose tuberculosis, you are able to diagnose cancer by looking at images, because very often what we do have in our country is that we have multiple hospitals, we may have X-ray machines, we may have CT scans, we may have MRIs, but we may not have qualified radiologists. So sometimes even though the images are there, but we miss out a particular disease. So it can play a big role. Similarly, use of AI in modeling, in predicting epidemics, in predicting diseases, in monitoring, in use of AI in drug discovery, use of AI in scientific research, use of AI in improving agricultural practices, personalized learning plans for every child. If you can get a personalized learning plan, use of AI for supporting children with special needs, the possibilities are immense.
Of course.
So as I said, it cuts across domains, it cuts across sectors, and it will really, really mean a lot to
the society at large. Yeah, absolutely, sir. Before we move to the next segment in the decoding and demystifying itself, there is one thought that emerges in the larger conversations is the workforce. And somehow it has settled in people's mind that AI is taking away the workforce. But now that is also getting clarified in what way AI is empowering workforce. Could you talk a little more about it?
As it happens with any technology, if you look at the evolution of technology, whenever a new technology comes in, it substitutes some existing forms of jobs or forms of professions that were there. For example, with digital photography coming in, all the earlier labs, which there are darkroom labs, and people used to develop images, and all those have become extinct. Automobiles came in, the horse-pulled rickshaws and human-pulled rickshaws, they have disappeared. So similarly, every technology leads to coming of new technology and phasing out of some obsolete technology, which becomes like redundant. Similarly, with AI coming in, and with especially the potential of AI to be able to do things more efficiently, what will happen is that routine jobs which are amenable to be done better and more efficiently by a machine, those jobs will be under stress. And those jobs may kind of get redundant. So what it will require is that it will require massive amounts of reskilling, upskilling, so that we have to ensure that those people who are adversely impacted by this technology have acquired skills that give them an opportunity to take up the new jobs that are coming in the data economy and the AI economy. So the data economy and the AI economy will create many more jobs as we are moving ahead from general AI to AGI to agentic AI and onwards to physical AI. There are many jobs which were created in the domain of robotics, in the domain of AGI, so in the domain of data science, even low-value jobs in the field of data annotation. So if we can train people adequately, we can reap the benefit. And secondly, what we need to also do is that ingrain AI curriculum in the school textbooks. Just like students used to learn about gravity and about plants, about the science textbooks in class 5th and 6th, similarly they will need to be taught about AI right from the beginning, and that will ensure that we are able to groom a generation of people who can take the AI job. The flip side of this will be that what AI has primarily done to all of us. When we all use a ChatGPT or when we all use a Gen AI tool, it basically makes us more efficient. I am able to do the job that would have otherwise taken 6 hours to be done in half an hour. So I am becoming more efficient, I am able to do more. That kind of ultimately leads to I being able to get more income, especially in the corporate world, private sector, government doesn't work, but yes, in the usual market sense, if less number of people are able to do more, their incomes goes up. Like the video editing becomes very fast. So their incomes goes up. And similarly, if we are able to apply the same principles and apply the same technology, for example, farmers. And if a farmer is using AI and is reducing the amount of water he is consuming or the amount of fertilizer he is consuming, and he is able to get more output that he's producing, his yield goes up, his efficiency goes up, farmer's income goes up. If you look at MSME, small businesses, if they are able to do better inventory management, if they're able to do better price prediction, if they're able to kind of identify which markets to sell, the MSME's efficiency will go up, their income will go up. So if all these incremental increase in efficiency, increase in income will ultimately add up to what we are dreaming of a Viksit Bharat, that will contribute to the GDP, that will contribute to per capita income, and that's how we'll be able to move forward on the journey towards becoming a developed nation by 2047 as per the vision of our Honorable Prime Minister.
Absolutely. We'll enter into the segment 2 now, and that is about how do we see India's position in the global value chain of AI. So one thing that we have been witnessing is the rush towards taking some lead role in, let's say, AI governance or AI adoption. Countries are coming up with 4-hour summits and all of those that we are also part of as a country. How do you see India's position as such at this moment?
AI per se is a global technology. The way it has been evolved, the way it has been developed, currently the bulk of the AI development is concentrated in a few companies and a few countries. Like the development of models, like there are very few models, and those models are also like primarily in the United States and China. India's strength primarily has been the talent that we have. In fact, if you look at the Stanford AI Index 2025, India is the #1 country there. If you look at the number of AI projects contributed on the GitHub repository, India is the #2 country there with the 20% share in the GitHub AI projects. Our weak points have been the research ecosystem or investment that we made in the field of AI. So now, of course, the AI mission coming in, we are making compute available at a low cost to all our researchers, and we are funding foundation models, we are funding applications, and we do hope to catch up with the world's best in days to come, years to come. Having said that, once we realize that if the models are trained on data sets which are not inherently Indian, and if they are used in India, it can adversely impact users in India. So we and most of the global countries, our partners, our allies, they do believe that we do need a global governance framework because the models are developed in one geography, the applications are developed in another geography, and the users are in another geography. So how do you ensure that you come out with with a framework which ensures that whatever development is happening in a safe, trustworthy, responsible, ethical manner. This requires ensuring that the data sets are unbiased, they are more representative. This requires that more testing is done. This requires that ensuring that harmful effects of AI are limited. And we all know that if the data which is used for training an AI model, if that data is not free from biases, if that data has inherent biases with regard to, like, for example, many Gen AI tools, if you ask them, give me the image of an Indian kitchen, they'll traditionally show women burning firewood.
Yeah, that bias
that's the thing of the past. Maybe it was true, and their data sets are biased. There was a famous case which happened with the Google's Gemini, when people asked to give the photographs of Nazis, and they give photographs of only black people, because their DEI algorithms was trained to
project
such outcomes. So again, we do need to have some such fairness assessment tools. We need to kind of have tools for detecting algorithmic bias. We need to have tools for synthetic data generation. We need to have tools for privacy preservation, and we also need to work together to detect, to contain the harm that can be caused by deep fakes and by AI generated content. Especially in democratic countries, it can really play havoc if AI generated content is used and projected in a wrong manner.
Of course.
It has also a big risk when it comes to child sexual abuse, when it comes to pornography, when it comes to using it for financial frauds. So there are multiple risks which are there. So to come out with it, there is a need of a global governance framework. And India, since we are a large country, we are a huge user base, we have a huge developer community, we have a huge big stake. So we took over we were the chair of the GPA in 2023, and we kind of worked with OECD and all other global countries to come and define a global governance framework for AI. We contributed to that. We are part of the G7 Friends group. And more importantly, we have contributed immensely in the Safety Summit series. The Bletchley Park Summit happened in November 2023, followed by the May 24 Summit in Korea, and the AI Action Summit in Paris earlier this year in Paris. And that which co-chaired Prime Minister Modi along with President Macron. They addressed the session and they came out with key asks for that, whether it was setting up a forum for current AI, whether it was taking up an initiative for sustainable AI development. So all of those decisions were taken. And now India is chairing the next summit, the AI Impact Summit in February 2026. And therein, we will have a great opportunity to lay down the global vision. We've also been part of the debate in the United Nations, the development of Global Digital Compact, which kind of also lays down the framework for development of a more equitable AI framework, democratizing AI resources, enabling access to compute, enabling access to data sets, enabling access to algorithms, models, and also undertaking capacity building in a big way. So there also what we see is that the countries, the global south, are looking up to India from providing leadership in ensuring that they are also able to adopt and jump on the bandwagon of AI. Because that primarily stems from the DPI story that we have. The digital public infrastructure that we developed in India, that we use and we used for implementing digital transformation projects at scale, whether it's for identity, payment, data empowerment, and using it for service delivery in healthcare, agriculture, that has generated a lot of interest, especially after G20 from all the global countries. And similar interest is now coming in AI. And we do believe that we can become a major source of providing AI use cases, applications to the whole world.
Absolutely, yeah. No, I think that's why this segment is not just about India and India's ecosystem for AI, but also how it is tightly linked to the global development, and particularly from global south and like-minded and like characteristic countries. Now, when it comes to, you also touched upon so many things that we need to work on to mitigate the effects of bias, algorithmic influences and stuff. So how do you see the AI research and innovation ecosystem in India? Is there a quick assessment that you can give in terms of AI research and innovation ecosystem in the country?
There are a lot of academic institutions who have already taken up projects for development of AI. We have the Department of Science and Technology took up the technology innovation hubs, in which there are several such projects which are whether it's the TIH at IIT Bombay, whether Professor Ganesh Ramakrishnan, whether he's working on a Bharat Gen project, whether it's the IISc Bangalore initiative of Art Park, whether they are using AI for robotics, and multiple several initiatives across India. So the research community is geared towards taking up initiatives and projects. Unfortunately, the funding for such projects had been a bit limited, and there is a strong case for increasing this. With the setting up of IndiaAI Mission, with the setting up of the ANRF, and with the 100,000 crores grant for research projects,
the RDA fund,
which is recently announced in the union budget, we do believe that it will go forward. What we also need to do is to enable frameworks and mechanisms for partnerships between academic institutions and industry. So very often academic institutions do research in a silo, and in that, if we kind of take if we can look at what the US does, the kind of partnerships that they have with the research and the industry ecosystem, the startup ecosystem, and the VC funding, that has really led to US taking the leadership in such technology. So we need to jumpstart that, we need to kickstart that. And the AI mission also, we have provisions of funding research scholars, PhD scholars for taking up AI projects, where there we have increased the grant to be equal to the prime research fellowship. So I think together with the measures which have been taken and which are in the pipeline, will be addressing the gap that exists in our research
ecosystem. Absolutely. You also touched upon industry, academia, and industry and private players coming together to support this as a larger movement. How do you see the India Inc. business enterprises and foreign tech corporates playing a role in India's AI ecosystem?
Of course, the global community looks at India as an AI garage. They look at India as the place where they source most of their engineers. If you, for example, look at Google DeepMind, most of the development of Google DeepMind globally happens in Bangalore. Manish Gupta, who is leading there, is one of the top scientists there, and they have been working on multiple projects. If you look at NVIDIA, the top chip maker, who's more than 90% share of
the global chip
market, they also have a development center in Pune. A lot of Indian engineers are contributing to that. In chip design, Indian engineers constitute almost 20% of the workforce globally. So all big tech companies, if you look at Microsoft, if you look at Meta, there are a lot of people from India who have had their basic early education in India, are now part of their companies, and they're building it. But recently there were news of Meta paying one Indian engineer $100 million to join their team. Now, OpenAI also has got several such people who are working on cutting edge technology. So the global big tech will take interest. What we need to somehow trigger is to kind of get our Indian companies, the TCS, the Infosys, the Wipro, the Tech Mahindra, the Indian IT firms,
the India Inc.
who have led implementation of many transformational projects in the finance sector or transportation sectors, and they are offering such services across the world. How can they kind of leverage AI and take leadership in this field? This will require some investment. It will require taking some bets. Because AI does require patient capital, and AI, like to train a model, you require a lot of GPUs, which are very expensive. But if these companies cannot invest, who will? We are looking at startups like Servam and Sockets and all. They are investing, but they are small companies. They are putting all their bets on AI. So if they can take the risks, why can't India Inc. take the risks? So my ask always to all the big tech Indian firms has been that you have to take the opportunity that lies. Otherwise, if we lose out on this, it will be at a huge cost to our Indian
in the long term also. Absolutely. Now that's a clear message here. We'll move to the segment 3, because there are some bits that you give a lead to me, which I have to cover before we move to the other ones. In terms of national AI policy priorities, of course, as you talked about, the AI Action Summit in Paris laid out very detailed vision directly from the Honorable Prime Minister himself when he spoke. And that also tells us, okay, here are the policy priorities for the country, for India. And now, if for a general audience, if you have to explain, AI as a technology is fine, AI in adoption in various sectors we have spoken about, what are the policy level priorities for the country, if you could help us understand?
When we look at sustaining the India's AI ecosystem, and we look at the opportunity that lies with us, as I mentioned, our key strength is skills and talent. So given that we have skills and talent, why are we lying behind US and China? So when to look into the entire ecosystem, what we had done was that in the year 2023, we had constituted 7 working groups. And these working groups were multi-stakeholder. They included people from the academia, the people, research community, startups, industry, government. And they went into great detail to identify the gaps that exist in Indian story. And it was very evident that to build AI, you require 3 components. You require skills, talent that we have, you require compute, and you require data sets.
Of course.
So what was felt was that we lacked heavily on compute and data sets. Compute was just not available. The only compute that was available 2 years back in India was 600 GPUs, A100 that was there at CDAC Pune. And that was all that we had. And we looked at companies like OpenAI or Meta or Microsoft. They were training models with thousands of GPUs, 25,000 GPUs, 31,000 GPUs. The frontier AI computer of US had 31,000 GPUs. And we also read about the plans of these companies investing into 100,000 GPUs. So we felt that making GPUs available is one priority area. So AI Mission, when it was conceptualized, it kind of took input from the working group report and kind of identified 7 pillars in which we have to act. So one was, of course, compute, and the target at that point of time was making 10,000 GPUs available, accessible to Indian AI community at a reasonable cost. Of course, we undertook tenders, we came out with procurement systems, and today, with the support of our private sector partners, we have almost 34,000 GPUs that are available at an average cost of rupees 65 per GPU per hour, as against global prices of $2.5 to $3 per GPU per hour. So compute, to some extent, challenge has been resolved. Then it came to data sets. The other problem was that we do have a lot of digitization that has happened in the country. When it comes to UPI payments and digital payments, we are amongst the world's biggest. And we have taken up digitization in various sectors. But very often the data that we have is not AI usable. And number 2, wherever the data sets are there in any government department or domain, they are not clear what kind of data sets they can give, how to anonymize them, how to put privacy preservation tools. So de facto, what happens is that most people who need the data, they don't have access to that. So to solve that problem, we built the India Data Sets platform called AI Kosh, aiKosh.gov.in, which today has got more than 1,000 data sets. And then that platform also has models and tools for various things. We've got 200 plus models hosted there. We've got various tools hosted there. And the applications also that we are developing are made available there. So AI Kosh becomes a repository of data sets. So again, compute, data sets, these 2 problems are solved.
2 priorities.
The third pillar, of course, was with regard to building an Indian foundation model, because we all were dependent on a Llama or a ChatGPT or a Mistral or a Claude or a Gemini or a Grok. So all the models were like non-Indian. So we felt that we should support Indian startups in building foundation. We came out with a call for proposals. We have got 506 applications, and out of which 4 proposals in the first phase have been supported by the IndiaAI Mission. And hopefully they will be able to build an
India-based LLM.
That's the funding support that we have provided. The 4th pillar, of course, was with regard to application development initiative. How do we build applications which farmers, which women, which people seeking healthcare, which students can use, industry partners can use. So we have launched an innovation challenge for building applications. That in the first round, we put out 5 themes: agriculture, healthcare, climate change, governance, and learning visibility. And we could identify 30 applications as a prototype stage. Now, these applications have been shared with the concerned department, and we're working with them to scale it up. So these applications will be scaled up and deployed at population scale.
This is also part of like a Make in India for AI
Make in India for AI. And like, for example, we have an AI application which can help diagnose tuberculosis. But the problem is that it cannot just be sufficient that we have a pilot and we have done with it. It has to be deployed in almost all the hospitals across the country, and that will mean real time. Similarly, if there is an AI application which kind of measures moisture content in the soil and maps it with the weather data and the cropping stage and the particular crop is, and gives an advisory to the farmer with regard to how much time he should operate his submersible pump. So that solution also at the pilot stage is working.
Scale it up if needed. Thanks. That's very useful in terms of understanding the priorities up to the application side of it, and the 5th and 6th, 7th and 8th also, if you could cover the priorities.
So that was the 4th pillar. The 5th pillar is, of course, about the skilling pillar. Of course, we are very strong in skilling, as we know, but if we don't kind of continue to provide support, we may lose out that advantage. So under skilling pillar, we are doing two things. One, we are providing fellowships to undergrad students and to postgrad students and also to research scholars. And when we are doing this, these fellowships are not only for engineering students. They are available for engineering students, of course, but they are also available for medicine students, law, commerce, humanities, any discipline. So we are seeing that more and more people, students from other disciplines are also adopting AI projects. But just a little while ago, I was on we launched a innovation challenge with the Tata Memorial Hospital and the National Cancer Grid, in which we will be providing support to startups and to researchers who are building using AI to solve problems for cancer care. So catch that we are calling it the catch grant in that. So we're partnering with the National Cancer Grid to co-fund it. 10 such solutions will give it 50 lakhs each, and those who move up, they may get a grant of 1 crore each. So again, various domains. Skilling, we are working on providing support for fellowships and all. And the second thing that we are doing is that because we do believe that the real jobs that will be created in the AI economy will in the field of data annotation and data science. So for that, we are building around 500 plus data labs across the length and width of the country in ITIs and polytechnics. We already have set up around 25 such labs.
This is the first time somebody saying ITI and polytechnic in such an engagement. Please go ahead.
Because we do, the ITIs and polytechnics traditionally have been training people to become mechanics and fitters. And with the EV economy coming in, the number of mechanics and fitters that will be required, automobile technician, will come down.
That's a larger pyramid, in fact. That's where it will start.
And we have curated a course on data science in partnership with the industry, and that data science course, the 6-month course with a NILIT certification, will help people get jobs of data annotation, data analysis in the data science. So we do believe that in the next 3 years we'll be able to train 150,000 students to take up the job that will come out in the data economy. So that and then in addition we are also taking up hackathon challenges. We did a hackathon with I4C, the Indian Crime Coordination Center, I4C, which looked after cyber crime. So then we are also doing a hackathon with the Geological Survey of India to use AI to detect areas where minerals can be found. So there is a lot of work that we are doing in the field of skilling so that we ensure that we retain our advantage. Then the sixth pillar is of course about startup financing. We do feel that a lot of work in the domain will be done by startups, and many startups in the field of AI do need a lot of support in the pre-seed and seed stage. When they are successful, they get a lot of backup. So we are setting up a fund of funds which will help provide funding support to these startups. And then in addition, we also took up an initiative called IndiaAI Startup Global, in which we supported 10 startups to undergo an accelerator program at Station F in Paris. We tied up in Station F in HEC Paris, and they spent 4 months there, and they have kind of got an opportunity to explore the European market, to forge partnerships and do that. The startup financing and startup support becomes our sixth pillar. And the last but not the least, the pillar becomes our safe and trusted pillar. How do we build a safe, responsible, ethical, trustworthy AI solution? So towards that objective, one, we have set up an AI Safety Institute under that pillar. And second, we are taking up projects in the field of machine learning, in the field of synthetic data generation, in the field of testing bias in data, testing bias in algorithms, in privacy preservation tools, developing privacy preservation tools, developing tools for detecting deep fakes, developing tools for watermarking AI generated content, testing AI, ethical AI frameworks, developing stress testing tools. So we are working with academic institutions and startups for developing such tools. That will help us in ensuring that we are able to kind of impose the regulation that we want. It's one thing to say that all solutions should be unbiased and should be responsible, ethical. But how do you test them? For testing, you require tools. The tools development is happening in the safe and trustworthy pillar.
Amazing. Well, that's a good coverage. So thanks so much. And in terms of the large-scale adoption of AI within government on e-governance, and also that's a portfolio that you again handle here in ministry. How do you see the large-scale adoption of AI and AI-based models in the government for e-governance?
We are looking at, in several domains, increasing use of AI in doing so. One very simple example which everybody relates to and very simple use of AI is Digiyatra, which many people would have experienced. They know that, and what Digiyatra does is simple image recognition. It automates the job that a CISF official does into comparing your image, real image, with the image on your Aadhaar, which has been verified earlier, and then your name on the boarding pass, the name on your Aadhaar.
Yeah.
So that's a simple job which does, and when you go, you the gate opens and you walk in and you save a lot of time. Simple use of AI. Similarly, Jeevan Praman. All pensioners in India were required to kind of get a proof of being alive. To get a pension every year, you have to go
get a life
certificate. Yeah. And that would mean a lot of hardship for many people because they would be required to go to government offices, queue up, and it's very difficult to say that you are so and so, you are alive. But then getting a paper certificate that you are alive is like a very painful process, and a lot of people, especially old people, retired people, used to grumble about it. So we built a simple tool which kind of face off. It does, it compares a photograph, liveliness test, verify the Jeevan Praman on your mobile, sitting at home, you can do that. Again, a simple use of AI that we use. Similarly, we have used AI for crowd control in law enforcement. In the Kumbh Mela, we use AI to estimate the number of people at a particular location, and when we're able to manage the traffic congestion. Several crime prevention is being used. We also had some very interesting use cases in which, again, there was a startup who built a solution. So municipalities, city government, they struggle with solving problems of potholes, of garbage being dumped, missing manhole covers, non-functional street lights, non-functional traffic lights. So what their fellow did was that it incentivized in cities the Zomato and Swiggy delivery boys and Ola and Uber drivers. So then when these fellows are driving around the city, their camera, the phone camera, while they are looking at the GPS on one side, the phone camera on the other side is capturing the video from where they are moving. So if they see a garbage dump, or they see a pothole, or they see a missing manhole cover, a street light missing, or a traffic light non-functional, the image along with the lat long is sent to the control room. And those who are to fix it, they get the information and do that. Earlier there were two teams, one to diagnose the problem, other to solve it. Now the diagnosing of the problem was outsourced to these fellows, and they were given some money also for that. So that helped improve city government.
If you know the startup name, we can make a shout out for them.
Yeah, Niantic.
Niantic, okay.
Niantic is a startup who did this. Great company, good job they are doing. But they also kind of provided similar solutions to police, traffic police, so that traffic violations, you can't put surveillance cameras all over. But if you have like these fellows whose cameras are capturing that your tail light is not working, or you are overtaking on the wrong side, or you are jumping a red light, so these information and challans can be issued. Again, compliance goes up. Again, a simple use of AI in doing so. In addition, in my role in NIC, we are also using AI and providing AI-enabled services to, say, for example, institutions like Supreme Court. The Supreme Court always faces this problem of petitions, long-running petitions, and linking it up. So we built a tool for them called Ligra. What it does is it summarizes every petition, links up to any other case law which is existing on that case, and becomes a support for the judge for using that. Then we have AI use cases for analyzing long documents. Like there are files which are 500 pages. How do you analyze them? How do you summarize them? So AI is being used in many departments for those purposes. Bhashini is one use case that is there. So like on file notings, we are able to give a dictation now.
And then automatically noting is prepared,
You don't have to type in all Indian languages. So again, that's very powerful. We are seeing police departments using AI in a big manner for data analytics, for ensuring that the investigation reports are proper, for ensuring it's used in a proper way. We're seeing defense forces using AI in a big manner. Drones are being used for surveillance. In agriculture, being used. So what I'm seeing is that AI adoption in almost all domains is going up. And as we go forward, I do believe that a lot of citizen grievances, citizen complaints, will be addressed with AI and will be able to bring in much better governance and administration.
Absolutely. I think that covers in also the sectoral adoption in extent that we spoke about. On the quicker bit of global standards and regulations, putting India's agenda for the global standards. You already touched upon how India has taken leadership role in many of such platforms and being actively pursuing those documentations and declarations. Could you also go a little bit in deeper about, okay, here is what in terms of standards India is very keen on. Here is where we are pursuing it for global interoperability of it.
See, like our principle from the beginning has been that we prescribe open standards. We have been building on interoperable solutions in the digital public infrastructure space. That domain is very clearly defined. When we are looking at data sets, because AI standards can be broken down into standards for data sets, standards for models, and so on. So data sets, of course, various domain-wise data sets are there. For example, health data sets, they follow the FHIR standards. Only for agriculture, there are global standards for doing that. So in all such bodies, we are represented through BIS, and BIS takes support from our. So we kind of are part of the global discourse with regard to development of standards in all domains. And we do ensure that our requirements, our specific requirements are captured there. Similarly, when we are building AI models, there is a big debate with regard to open source and proprietary. Whether the open AI model should be open source or whether it can be proprietary. Of course, both such models exist. India, of course, we do believe that we prefer open source models, but we don't prohibit proprietary models. So our basic concern is that we are not there to lay down standards or to put on regulation for regulating technology per se. We are more to regulate the end use,
the usability,
what that technology is being used for. So that's our regulatory principle. Much of pro-innovation and less restrictive. So I would say innovate with the restraint. Like restraint should only be from the point of view of
where it is being used and for what.
Where and in case it causes user harm. So the lens of user harm is put. Otherwise, the default is to allow for innovation, because our strength lies in that. And if we kind of put up the regulatory walls too high, then it will kind of benefit the big tech and curtail the innovation that our smaller companies or startups can do. So that's the kind of principle that we have towards the regulatory approach.
Great. There was also a subcommittee report that PSA is sharing, and the secretariat runs from the ministry here. What are the contours of that report, and are we looking for that as a policy document for the country?
Yes, that would be like great work has been done by that committee. That committee went into all aspects with regard to AI development, with regard to AI regulation. It was the techno-legal approach, a consent-based approach towards data sharing, towards development of AI models. Again, the principle of user harm, the principle of innovation over restraint. That committee gave up with all such recommendations. We had put up the committee's draft report for public consultations. We have got a very good response from all stakeholders, and now in the next few weeks, the committee report will be finalized and published.
Great. On the concept of sovereign AI, people talk about data sovereignty, but now everybody is talking about AI sovereignty. How do we see AI sovereignty as a concept for India, given the national security implications also that comes with use of AI?
Like when you use the word sovereign, and in any technological sense, you'll have to think of sovereignty in the context of the entire AI stack. How do we ensure that right from chips to
the whole product at the end,
to data sets, to models, to applications, use cases, the entire stack is your own. So of course, we are very strong in applications. We are in the process of building models, Indian models that we are doing. Data sets we have there, we have built a platform. Compute, we have Indian companies who are building Indian servers. Chips, we are working on designing Indian chips.
So semiconductor.
Right now, the whole world is dependent on NVIDIA and a few other companies. So sovereignty today in the context of AI means that we have complete control over
each of those layers.
But right now we don't have the GPUs. We are not making our own GPUs. It will happen one day, but at the present stage, even though we are dependent on GPUs with NVIDIA and other American companies, but at least the servers are made in India. The compute is on Indian soil. The control of that compute is with us. There are opportunities of making it on-prem. Foundation models, wherein, like especially open source models, which we can host here so that no data flows outside India. Till such time we build our own foundation model. Applications and use case we build based on data sets which are Indian. So that's the concept of sovereignty we are looking at. We would love to have more sovereign. But till such time we develop our capabilities,
we'll build
we
those
are
checks and
ensuring that
balances.
we are training and building AI models and applications on Indian data, and none of this data goes outside India. So that's the concept.
Foundation, right? Yeah. So the last segment, sir, this is about the future. The first question is, okay, how do we see the future of India AI mission itself? Because AI itself has grown bigger than any one mission now, because almost every ministry, every sector, as you spoke, has the impact. So do we have a phase 2 of India AI mission with some larger contours, something that has been debated about currently?
Like right now, IndiaAI Mission is just 1 year.
Yeah.
We have 4 more years to go. We have made a lot of progress in the days to come. But at the same time, as we move forward, as I mentioned, that like several additions have already been made in the current program. Against the target of 10,000 GPUs, we are at 34,000 GPUs, and I believe that by end of the year, I will have 50,000 GPUs. So that's like again a 5-fold increase within the 1 year. Similarly, on applications, we planned for X number of applications, we are going to go 2X. Similarly, on tools that we are developing, we had started with developing 20 tools. We may need almost 100 plus tools. Models, we hope that we'll have 5-7 models from India that will be coming up in the next quarter. So I think that as we move forward, ultimately we'll have to think of how do we address agentic AI, how do we address robotic AI. For the West, physical AI is a big focus area, but because they are having the problem of limited number of working hands available.
Human resources.
In India, when we look at robotics, when we look at physical AI, we look at robotics only in places where we don't have humans to work for.
Absolutely.
Like, for example, a dull job, the dangerous job, like
dignified jobs,
cleaning, then jobs which involve dealing with explosives, with landmines. So those manufacturing, where we need to improve quality, electronics manufacturing, automobile manufacturing. So those are the areas that will apply. But we'll not try to promote robotics for doing jobs that humans can do, because otherwise we'll end up creating unemployment. So that's our focus. But then again, the jobs that will arise in robotics globally, we can have Indian engineers take up that.
Of course.
So again, aligning our curriculum to do that. So as we move on India AI Mission, we have to be very dynamic in our approach.
Evolving the mission itself.
Things change. When we began last year, H100 was the computer to go to. So very soon H100 became obsolete, H200s came, and now H200s have also become obsolete. Like everybody is asking for B200. So we have to have a very dynamic approach in addressing this, and we have to also ultimately keep a sight on what it's ultimately resulting in. How the Aam Aadmi or the common man is getting benefited from it. Is it resulting in any tangible benefits in education, healthcare, agriculture? Is it contributing to Indian economy? Is it contributing to improving efficiency? Is it contributing to government becoming efficient? Is it contributing to reducing the drudgery of citizens and the government personnel? So those are the questions that we can continuously ask as we review our own performance and work out the road ahead.
Contours of it. Absolutely, sir. So now the final aspect of it, everybody is talking about the Impact Summit and India taking that leadership already in a way where France as a key ally, making a co-chair and then handing it over to us. What are things planned for the Impact Summit beyond some visions that we will lay out, as you already spoke about?
See, the Impact Summit, the whole world is looking at it. The first time the summit is coming to a
global south country.
It was in UK, then from UK to Korea, and then from France, India is taking up. The whole world is looking at it. The way we are looking at the Impact Summit is, of course, the main summit will be on the 19th and 20th of February in Delhi, wherein heads of government, CEOs globally will come. During the summit, we will have more than 60 sessions across 7 themes. We are working on the whole concept of the summit is that impact is the one mantra that we are working on. Impact on key domains. Which domains? We call it the 3 pillars or the 3 sutras. People, planet, progress. Impact on people, impact on planet, impact on progress. And then we have 7 themes, or in our context, I am calling it 7 chakras that we are working on. What are the chakras? Human capital. How does it impact jobs? How does it impact skilling? How does it impact education, learning? The human capital is one key pillar. Chakra that we have. The second pillar is, of course, about inclusion. How do we ensure that AI is more inclusive? How AI can be used for people with disabilities? How AI can be empower women? So inclusion becomes a second key pillar that we have. Third, of course, is the safe and trustworthy pillar. Like how do we build AI that's more responsible, more ethical, more safe, more trustworthy? So that's the third pillar that we have. Fourth, when we look at the planet, we are looking at resilience as a key. Resilience in the sense that AI, there's always a talk about building sustainable AI solutions.
Yes.
AI consumes a lot of energy. So how do you limit, how do you make more efficient compute for training models, and also define to what extent you will go, so it doesn't impact a sustainable development goal. And the second part about resilience is that using AI for climate change. Like how can AI use to predict floods, how AI can be used to predict extreme heat events. So AI has both. It has an adverse impact, especially with regard to higher energy usage, and there's a positive use, like how AI can address sustenance. So that thing comes under the theme of resilience. The fifth theme, of course, is about science. Like what AI means for science, for drug discovery, new medicines that can be developed, for mapping the genome. We know that this year's 2 Nobel Prizes went to both physics and chemistry to AI, to work that was done with AI. The AI has a huge impact on science and way science will also evolve. Then, of course, the other 2 pillars. One is about democratizing AI resources. How do we ensure that more and more countries of the global south get access to compute, data sets, algorithms? That again becomes an important pillar again. And the seventh and the pillar, last but not the least, is AI for social good. How we use AI for building applications in various sectors, in healthcare, in education, in agriculture, in various social segments. These 7 chakras over the 3 sutras and 1 mantra impact people, planet, and these 7 is our entire plan. But in the run-up to of course, the summit will happen 19, 20 years, 60 events will happen. And the run-up, immediately the week of the summit, from 16th to 20th, we'll also have lots of events. Like we are having a research symposium, and researchers from across the world will be presenting papers. The call for research papers will be, will get like, so that academic community will also be there. We'll have a global expo in which we will be showcasing AI technologies from startups, and there will be country pavilion and at the Bharat Mandapam, in which exhibition will be there of showcasing the AI technologies. And in the run-up to the summit, we are planning almost 200 side events right beginning August. So the AI Impact Summit side events will be there in partnership with various academic institutions, government departments, industry, not-for-profit, civil society, all of them will be associated in doing that. We are launching 3 hackathons. One will be a global AI hackathon, which will be open to everyone across the world. One will be a hackathon for youth. We're calling it Yuva AI. How do we involve the students for taking up this program? And then one will be specifically for women. So that will be there. In addition, we will have a pitch fest in which VCs and all will be invited, and startups will pitch for that, and fundraising will happen. Plus, we are also opening up the whole event for partners to suggest what they want to do. Yeshua Benjo will be presenting a scientific panel report.
Is he coming in person?
He is coming in person, and he is continuing the work that we started.
The science in AI.
So the scientific panel report on AI. Some Indian researchers are also part of that work. So that work is ongoing. We'll be doing that. We are also hoping to get the top CEOs. We are hoping to get some top researchers. So once they come, we'll organize keynotes and reports with them also. So it will be going to be a hectic the next 6 months.
6 months, the massive span. Everything is concentrated in Delhi, or
no. The side events all will happen
across the country.
Across the
or also globally, some partners are taking up. So that's the final message based on the full layout that you put out. I think it's going to be like another G20 year for us as a country.
More than that. Impact.indiaai.gov.in is the website. Those of you who are watching that are most welcome to look at that and contribute and join. Because everyone can play a big role here. It's not only about us doing it, throwing some ideas. We even had a portal open on MyGov in which you ask citizens to give ideas what they would want to do, what way they would want to associate. So that opportunity is also there.
Great. So with that message, if there is any final statement that you would want to conclude this conversation with, we'll be happy to hear. Or if any call for these ecosystem players specifically to do something for the Impact Summit or the mission, with that message we will conclude this
I'll just say that AI is something which is here, which is there, which is real, which is now. We all are using it. We are living in the age of AI. It's not possible. The cost of not learning AI will be much greater than the cost of learning AI. So invest in AI, in yourself. Every student or every person who is watching it, or every government department, or every business, every entity, every startup, every academic institution, you have to embrace this technology. You have to benefit from this technology, because if one doesn't do, the costs will be very, very high. So that's the moment that we are in. And I do hope that we as a country will be able to take advantage of this and showcase in the AI Impact Summit that we'll be hosting in February.
Great. Thanks so much, Abhishek Singh ji, for this amazing coverage. I think this is the first time we have covered end-to-end of everything that is going on. And heartfelt thanks to you, and we will get back to you with more follow-ups.
Thank you. My pleasure.